It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and the air is a little chilly and bitter as Pamela Terán leaves Bar Jardin. It's a restaurant and a bar in the middle of the town. She steps out into the empty plaza. The sun isn't going to begin rising for about 3 hours, and Pamela is enjoying a festive night before the elections bring higher tensions. She's running for the town council as the member of the Institutional Revolutionary Party. She feels at home here in Mexico in an indigenous little town on the southwest corner of the country, a brief car ride from the ocean. Pamela has black hair, a kind-hearted smile. Bracelets adorn her arm, and she wears a modest hand-stitched dress in an elaborate and colorful design. A design you really could only find right there. She's with her friend, photojournalist Maria del Sol, and a man, her bodyguard, who is also her driver. The world around her is mostly quiet. Tree frogs whistle, croak, ribbit, and grunt. In the distance, a spider monkey wails out its strange call. In the daylight, this place is paradise. Cornfields weave into forests, ancestral homes sprawl to the railroad, past the farm with cows and pigs and goats and chickens. Last year, the region was struck by one of the earthquakes in Mexico, one of the most deadly in the last century. Pamela, at the time, appeared on television asking for volunteers. The video is eerie, with her standing in the dark as floodlights shine into the rubble, people frantically searching for life or bodies as she looks into the camera. "Please, we need more people to help us," she said. "Please." She was a doctor by profession. She was also an activist who ran organizations for the dispossessed. 2 years ago, she was a candidate for mayor. Maybe she's thinking about all of this as she crosses the plaza to her car, unaware of the cloaked figures waiting for her in the darkness. Inside the car, they pause, stung by a strange feeling, something ominous and sudden. But before they can react, the gunfire begins. The killers empty their magazines and then shove in another. They make sure no one is left alive, and then they vanish back into the darkness and night. On Monday, the military helicopters watched over the funeral. At least 1,000 people attended. The details of Pamela's death are still spare. Officials admit that it may have been gang-related, as her father, Juan, has a criminal record and alleged relations with the local cartel. But either way, her death is a far more ominous trend taking over the country just to our south. Since last September, over 110 electoral candidates have been murdered throughout Mexico. In the 24 hours before Pamela's death alone, armed civilians murdered 2 women politicians a few hours northwest. The 2 women had been rammed into a ditch late at night and executed. In the morning, police uncovered the bodies. The vehicle had been abandoned and nothing had been stolen from the women or the car, so police realized it wasn't a robbery. Mexico is on the verge of presidential elections. They begin July 1st, and the drug gangs have been murdering their way into the race, from City Hall all the way up. Crime bosses have implanted their own batch of politicians, people who can be paid enough to stay out of the way. Criminal gangs rove the country, eliminating any reformers or any dissenters. Journalists in Mexico are now dying at an alarming rate, a historical high. So it's often hard to tell for sure what happens, because now people just vanish in the dark, at night, with the sound and the croaks and the whistle of the tree frogs. But the warring drug cartels are growing in strength and getting bolder by the day, bringing their culture of death to every corner of the country. And we sit here, oblivious, wondering why are so many people trying to get across our border.